Hi, Rich J. Tilley, the author of First Gentleman. I'm going to read you one more chapter. It's a short one. It's called Dates with Fate. It's a passage by Will Akers Jr., the main character in the book. Now, Will is in prison. He's in Brixton Point Prison, a fictitious white-collar prison in upstate New York. It's not exactly San Quentin with gangs and things like that. It is kind of comfortable. The food is decent. He may have 2 pillows in his cell, but his punishment is time. Too much time to think at nighttime. Too much time alone. And his mind is going back through events from the past that has caused him to be in prison at age 53 years old. And wondering if he could have changed one thing, maybe his whole life would have had a different outcome. He isolates it to meeting 2 women, Amberly Gardner and what is her name? Maureen Donaldson, the first female president of the United States. Fate is a force that we sometimes can't explain. And if Amberly's mother had moved to a different town, or maybe they moved to the Winfield but moved in a different house, Will would have never met Amberly, which caused a chain of events that has put him in Brixton Point Prison. And of course, if he'd have chose a different law school, he would have never met the girl that goes on to become the first president of the United States. So Will is thinking about his life, fate. The other thing about fate is sometimes all the factors are in place and maybe somebody or something, some powerful force is telling us that I've made the conditions right for you to do something. And Will is thinking about doing something and questions himself, should I do it or should I not? And fate comes along at a fishing hole. Don't do it, Will. Let's read the book. My life's playbook would have followed a completely different roadmap if I had never met these 2 women, Miss Amberly Gardner and Miss Maureen Donaldson. Never crossing paths with either one of them would have drastically changed the results of my life's outcome. From my current perspective, I would say that each one of their acquaintances projected an equal amount of weight and significance on my life, even though I knew Maureen for much, much longer than Amberly. I have found that as people, we are always just one person away from an enriching change in our lives. On the other hand, an encounter with someone else could also have a fateful twist, accompanied with future consequences. I have learned to respect and never underestimate the power of a meeting with another individual or a new group of people. To this day, if time permits, I always try to find the time to listen to what a new person may have to say, and try to agree to a discussion when feasible, even if it's only a brief exchange of ideas. Often, the repercussions of a new business idea or human introduction can spinball our lives into a positive new direction, and can oppositely be the epicenter of a downward spiral. When things don't turn out so well, it is only human nature to want to turn back time so we could prevent the initial meeting after we have lived out the chain of events that came along because of it. Knowing what it is like to be a busy person, I have discovered that our life's eventual path can change with every hour that goes by. We can wake up in the morning not realizing that our upcoming agenda that plays out that day could be the beginning of a completely new life tangent for ourselves. Or in my case, how one innocent late night fishing trip can turn out to be the most defining moment of my entire life. I guess the word I am trying to describe here is commonly referred to as fate. Not to get sidetracked, but I need to remind everyone that these words are about the power of a woman. I have to admit that I have never had a whole lot of luck with the ladies, including in my 3-year tenure as a Wildcat at Kansas State University. In my 53 years, I have only ever dated 2 women, and each of my first dates turned into a date with my own destiny. If I had never met Amber Lee in the year of 1980, there is a strong chance that I may not be sitting here in a New York State federal prison, known for housing white-collar criminals, writing my assigned autobiographical chapters in this book. Amber Lee was definitely my first love. Maybe one could call it puppy love, because I think I fell in love with her at first sight. To summarize and simplify, I was infatuated. I wanted her. I was completely at the mercy of a 16-year-old boy's hormones running rampant through my adolescent body. My more mature love for Maureen took a bit more time to cultivate, but her ambition and drive won me over, and of course my adulation for her was solidified when she became the mother of our first child, Sarah. In 1989, she became my wife, and I put my dreams of pursuing a law degree on the back burner to play the role of Mr. Mom. We both loved and respected one another, and the woman I chose to be my bride, as everyone knows, went on to rewrite the American history books. My adopted role was to act as her dedicated, loyal sidekick husband, simply supporting her and hanging on to her coattails. In some ironic way, each one of these defining women that I chased, served, and loyally worshipped took a little piece of faith from my generally good Midwestern spirit. In retrospect now, I would admit that the romantic piece of my heart is at this point truly broken, completely void of love and stripped because of the way everything played itself out. Thinking about Amber Lee's fate and my now shattered marriage causes me a great deal of emotional pain and deep regret. My empty present-day life of incarceration is a far cry from the former political lifestyle that was full of importance, exuberance, and prestige. Maureen and I had an uncommon married bliss with a respected partnership, accentuated with black silk collared tuxedos, fancy red evening gowns, and fine dining with important guests. Sadly, today this bond has been reduced to 2 estranged divorcees barely speaking to one another. Consequently, with Maureen's political life completely destroyed, with virtually no point of return to grace, I trust that my ex-wife, our ex-president, cannot be in a great state of mind these days either. If I had never had the desire to pursue a law degree at the prestigious Washburn University, I would have never met my wife, and thus my name would not be known all over the world today. One decision made in a different way for another educational institution could have changed everything. There was a laundry list of law schools I was considering before being drawn to Washburn. As a result of the school I picked from the pool, I would most likely not be a famous person, or infamous, as my new label has turned out to be. Hopefully these words in my short passage add value to this novel, and I would like to conclude my thoughts with, I love both of these amazing women dearly. So Will writes a passage, not a chapter, to contribute to the book. It's been analyzed by his journalist and rewritten. There are some repetitive words in that chapter than there is in the beginning chapter, because the reader has to know that Emma Sue Mayberry has probably read it, rewrote it, and edited it, and this is the final passage that made it into the book. It's called Dates with Fate. Sometimes fate plays a role in our lives, and we can't explain why things happen. And sometimes things happen for a reason, and sometimes God or the force of nature or fate, whatever it is, puts us in a position where we have to make a decision. And sometimes the decision is made, and we wish we didn't make it. Hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the book. For now, thank you very much. This is Rich J. Tilley. I am the author of The First Gentleman. It is available on Amazon around the world and also on my website, mybooksandvids.com. From the website, I will ship it myself, and I will sign your book with a personal note and ship it for free. Thank you, everybody.